Okay, next we have Cresci and Jaime Scobel from the Office of Meetings, Events, and Conference Services, who will be presenting Elevating Campus Events, Event Management Solutions and Support.
Before we start, I just want to give a shout out to Good Eating Company. Thank you very much, our catering staff, and thank you for setting the stage. And then obviously our IT crew, Sammy, Nate, Adam, Rob, thank you very much. And then also thanks to all of you for being here, and thank you to the committee for putting this together and having us here today. I'm Cresci. I'm the Director of Meetings, Events, and Conference Services. I've been here for all of 17 months now, but I've been managing events for over 30 years. So, and please don't ask how old I am. And my favorite thing about events is actually before the event happens, because I'm a planner and I like to plan.
And I'm Jaime Scobel. I've been here for 8 months now. I'm the Associate Director of Meetings, Events, Conference Services, also lovingly known as MEX. What was the other question I had to ask for that? Oh, I've done events off and on now for 25 years, and my favorite thing about an event is actually after an event. On the auspice that we have exceeded expectations.
So today we're going to go through a couple of things. I know this looks really short, but we actually have a lot to talk about. We've introduced ourselves. You know who we are. Pretty soon you'll know how to get in touch with us, how best to get in touch with us. We're going to talk about the 6 elements, or 6, not just the 6 elements of event planning, and really curious, and maybe Shweta, you could help with the microphone. Anyone, can you shout out what 1 or 2 of those 6 elements might be? Okay. I can't hear. Booking a room.
Booking a room.
Yes, reserving a room. Choosing and reserving a room. What else? That's 1.
Resources.
Requesting event resources. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Food and drink.
Food and drink, catering.
You
What?
guys are good at this.
These are still like programs. What is it?
Table
Table
setup.
What'd you say, Connor? Publicity. Marketing, yes. Marcom's going to tell you
That's
all
coming
about
next.
that. Yeah.
Yes, we will not steal Marcom's thunder.
No, we will not. We are very excited to have them covered for us. Yeah.
Tech check.
Yes, tech checks.
Tech check, yes.
Tech checks. Yes.
Anything else? Oh, no, my game doesn't work. Yeah, defining the event goal. Did somebody say defining the
Yeah.
event goal? I'm
Yes.
pretty sure I heard that.
I totally did
Did
that.
you hear something about
I
budget?
Finding the
Heard it.
event goal.
Yeah, there you go.
Planning, yes. How about managing a budget? Communication? Anybody here do events? Do you work on events all by your little lonesome? No. No. What do you do?
I like this game.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
That's not quite what I meant. I'm pretty sure I heard Lila say recruit a team.
See, I heard that too. I heard that too.
Okay, awesome.
Do you want? Next slide.
So yeah, then we're going to talk a little about evaluation, then we'll close out. So we wanted to start off with this quote for a couple of reasons. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place.
Keep doing that.
Oh,
Okay, now just really quickly, again, put your hands up if you're planning events in this room. All my event planners, put your hands up. Okay, so see how many there are of you? See how few of us. All right, so we need your help, and we are not necessarily super skilled interpreters. We do our best.
We do
So
our
we're going to go through some things to help you, help us, help you. Does that make sense? All right.
Oh, this one's me, right?
This is you.
This is me. Okay, so what's it like working at MEX? Karen and I had lots of conversations about this. The best analogy we can come up with is flight control tower. There's a lot of things happening on campus. We're up here trying to watch everything, make sure you guys aren't like crashing into one another. We support 91.5% of the events on campus that are internal here at this school. 8.5% are external. We handle like thousands and thousands of emails, and it's all just crazy overwhelming. So,
This is what's happening here.
this is what it feels like a lot of the time. A little hyperbolic, but it is very similar to this. Okay. Was this one you or me?
This is still you.
Oh, it's still me. Okay. All right. We ask you to partner with us for on-time requests. Planning is everything, as you can see, obviously, with all the planes crashing into one another. We need your guys' help. It's just us two and student workers, as well as IT. Day of issues, we want you guys to call us. We can sometimes fix issues for IT checks or anything else that we have going on. Or call the SOTA front desk, which is 4156. Please take a picture of that extension.
So this is
It was so funny.
We don't have fancy graphics, but we came with props.
okay. So we're your flight crew, right? And this is me.
Although she usually does have the messy bun, but not today.
It's true. I usually do have a messy brain, especially like probably around 11 o'clock in the morning, because it doesn't take long. I start my days rather early. So yeah, just really quickly, Jaime covers now supports all internal events and makes sure that her focus is devoted to making sure everything that's happening every single day, because there are tons of events every single day, all fall under her purview. Also, Tier 1, Tier 2 consultations, camps and conferences now, thank you, grad fair, and grad grounds. And for me, I also support Tier 1 and 2 events. I've talked to some of you in this room, as well as commencement. Who's excited about commencement?
We're excited about commencement.
We are so excited. We are already planning, by the way. And we're recruiting commencement committee members, so take a look. There's my email out there, my email up here. Please reach out. I also support grad grounds, which we are considering for graduate students, if I can just maybe plug that right now, as well as supporting external events with my partner in success, Shweta, the other Shweta, in the room, working on generating a lot of revenue. And these QR codes are good. You can book a meeting with us now. It is the best way to get time with us. And the reason I say that is because we are often in meetings. And so
events.
if you call us, we might be meeting with a client and we've got to be present with that client. So we will get back to you, but it may not be right away. So book time with us in advance, or if you need to reach us really quickly, Google chat or reach out to Shweta, our Shweta.
Yes. And it's also the best way too, so that we can make sure we can set aside that time to dedicate focus with your event and what you guys want to do as well. So we really do appreciate it. It's not that we don't want to chat with you guys on the phone, but when we're in a meeting with you, I can only imagine how frustrated you guys would be if we were constantly checking our phones for text messages and phone calls. In the middle of that, you couldn't possibly think that we were paying attention to what you guys need.
All right, so now my favorite part, the 6 elements of event planning. So we talked about a lot of things earlier, so thank you very much for participating in the audience participation portion of this event. We're going to talk about defining the event goals, one more, creating and managing the budget, creating a planning timeline with a fancy new tool coming your way, choosing and reserving a venue, recruiting a team, and then we're going to revisit communication.
It sounds more dry than it is.
Okay, so starting with defining the event goal. This is where you want to get together with your folks if you've started talking with people, or you're just in your own mind thinking, all right, these are the events we've got to do. What is the goal of the event? What is the primary purpose, the thing that you need to focus on from start to finish as you're planning your event? Next slide, please. Thank you so kindly. And then who are you serving? So essentially your event plan is your flight plan, right? And you need to focus on all of the audiences that you are serving from start to finish. And I don't just mean the day of the event. I mean from the day that they encounter any of your marketing, how they register to participate, if you're having people register to participate, which I highly encourage. We talked about a lot of data today. We love data. Unfortunately, I learned through the ADR process, we don't have collective data on events. So if you have any, sharing is caring.
Yeah, we thought we were unique with that, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of enrollment data. Oh, go back, please.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
All right, and then what is the purpose of your event? There's a whole lot of things up here, right? It could be admissions-driven, education, revenue generating, team development, like today. Fundraising, brand awareness, Marcom, I know you're still in the room, networking, and then my favorites, the themes for today, breaking bridges, building bridges, and breaking down silos. Okay, now you can move on.
Creating and managing a budget. How many of you guys know that even if you guys plan an event here and you reserve tables and chairs and a venue here, it doesn't necessarily cost you anything, but it does cost something. We actually have staff here that moving crews, grounds crews, if you guys have an event outside, we have to take into consideration all of these things. But when things are done last minute, what ends up happening is that these crews get together real quickly, Alexio, in teams to go ahead and put these things together, and it could accrue like overtime, which costs a lot of money for SMC. So taking the time to manage a budget for what you need, talking to us about that. Sometimes we can actually get you guys some deals when you guys want to do catered events here on campus.
Like today.
Like today.
Next slide, Jenny.
Sorry.
Keep going.
Yes. So program and implementing supplies, you want to take percentage time out for that and sort of figure out what your venue is, what your budget is, catering, accessibility, SDS. Maybe you need an interpreter. Interpreters are expensive. The last time I had to use an interpreter, it was $100 an hour, and sometimes you need two. And I'm sure it's more expensive than that now. Contingency plans for unexpected fees or anything else that might be happening.
So with the contingency and accessibility, I really wanted to touch on that because sometimes we will receive things like layouts that may not necessarily have wheelchair considerations. And then also with the amount things cost, right? If you're looking at an event that you did last year and you saved all your documentation, including all your invoices, awesome job. But consider that it's going to cost more. Add at least 3% onto that into your planning when you're considering your budget. And then again, we have that fund rush request fee that would be considered a contingency if you forget to send us something in advance. But we'll talk about why we do that. Go ahead.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about creating a planning timeline. This is kind of your start to finish in terms of run of show, but in addition, everything leading up to that. Can you go to the next slide really quick?
Yes, I can. Maybe.
We should have practiced our transitions.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so as you're getting ready to plan things, there's a lot you need to consider in terms of how much time you need to allot yourself, your planning team, deadlines that you've got to meet, right? In event planning, we call them anchors. I couldn't really think of anything other than like guideposts in terms of our flight plan theme, but they should be the things that you're establishing other deadlines around. You know, the fun stuff is really fun to plan. Really, really, really fun. But if you've started planning your event and started marketing your event and you don't have an event space, that's a problem. So make sure that you're always starting with securing your venue, right? Get your date locked down. There are additional approvals required if you're going to bring in outside entities. Many of you already know this, but you've got to work through the business office. There's contract process, all kinds of forms that need to be done. If you're working with external vendors like someone in entertainment, they may have a writer that you've got to accommodate. I've gotten a request like a day before an event where this, entertainer needs a green room and he needs this and that. And it's like, I'm sorry, we don't have bonbons at the ready. We just can't accommodate something like that. So take a look at all of those details and loop us in as soon as possible. We have event resource requests. 2 ways to send that through. Yes, you can continue logging your own requests, which I know many of you do. However, if you work through our office, if you book a meeting with us, we can talk about so many more of the details and eliminate the back and forth that happens a lot, which I know you also experience. We're trying to cut that down. But communicate adjustments to us as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Day of adjustments, because we have this budgeting issue, some of them may not be accommodated because things are being cut back, which includes some of our resources. Like, for instance, our moving crew, who we appreciate, they go home at 1:30 because they start at 6 a.m. most days.
Sometimes 4 a.m.
Sometimes they start at 4 a.m., which means they leave even earlier. So if your event is later in the day and you're requesting something, we may not be able to get you another table. So let's have those conversations. All right, and then definitely go through your run of show, AKA production schedule, AKA agenda, AKA whatever you want to call it. And then consider, if you haven't yet, a post-event evaluation, because again, data is key. We love making data-informed decisions.
Exactly.
That was excellent. I didn't even cue them up for that. And then many of you, I know there are commencement committee members in the room. Can you just raise your hands, just kind of be acknowledged? Okay. So they can also speak to the fact that we did evaluation, and actually you still can fill out evaluation right outside the doors there. But we also had a debrief, and we've documented everything that we've been able to review in terms of last year's planning to improve this year's planning. So the importance, I can't even highlight enough the importance of those, and then documentation. And then coming soon, really sorry it's not done yet, but coming soon, there's going to be an event planning template where you download an Excel spreadsheet, which I really hope is okay. We'll make it work for Google, but I live in Excel, where my spreadsheet friends at. You'll be able to download a template, plug in your event date, and it will auto-populate all of the SMC specific deadlines. So it's like, oh, this is the date that this is due. Your resource request, sorry.
Yay.
I know that was a lot.
Okay. All right, choosing and reserving a venue.
That's you.
Does this also mean?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
okay. Oh, that's right, because I have all this memorized. Okay. So we talked a lot about your timeline. Remember, before you start marketing, get your reservation in. Now what do we use on this campus? Our master calendar is in. I heard Ad Astra. Did you hear Ad Astra?
I did hear it,
We heard
yes.
Ad Astra. All right, so all spaces are scheduled in Ad Astra for the registrar's office, all of the events, everything is in Ad Astra, right? Yes, okay. So in Ad Astra, and I know this is a bit of a change because previously when you were submitting your reservation request times, you were putting only your event time. That doesn't help us if you want to get in 2 hours before your event. So as you're submitting your reservation times, make sure you're putting in your setup time. So if you want to get into space at 1 o'clock, for a 2 o'clock event, your setup time starts at what time? 1 o'clock, okay. And then tear down, you clean up is always faster than setup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get 15, 30 minutes. I mean, if you've got external vendors dropping stuff off days before, picking stuff up days later, we need to know. Okay. All right, occupancy and guest count, my favorites. Layouts change capacity. For instance, this room can accommodate up to about 600 people. But do you think it could do that with rounds and chairs set like that? Isn't it? No. We're getting a lot of requests that are exceeding occupancy. And if we have a visit from a fire marshal unexpectedly, which will happen, we could be fined. So we got to stick with occupancy, and you can find that in Ad Astra. Now, all of these spaces here specifically require additional approvals, and all of that information is on our website. And we are currently in tier scheduling, also on our website.
Yes, it is.
Did you want to talk about the capacity or the capacity calculator? Yeah, we'll talk about that
We'll talk about that when it's launched in November.
when it's launched in November. Okay, that's cool. All right. Where are we? We are in recruit a team. All right. It takes a village, for building all of these events. What we kind of do ask, though, is when you guys are communicating with us, that you give us a single person of contact for that event, and then maybe a backup person as well. It's already happened several times where we will get the same requests told in different ways, requesting different things for the same event. And then the confusion of trying to figure out who we need to talk to clear up the mess. Somebody wanted blue chairs, somebody wanted red chairs, somebody didn't want any chairs at all. What are we doing here? So making sure that you guys are clear on that when you guys reach out to us to talk about events would be really, really appreciated. And then, let's go to the next slide. Oh, sorry, yes. All right, so the bigger your event, the larger your event team should be. So for commencement, how many people on average do we have on the committee for that?
Well, on average, I'm not sure because this was our first year, but
On our
there's
first year
definitely
average.
more than like 40. I mean, it's a huge commit because it's a campus-wide. So there's, I feel like there's about 40, maybe.
Or so, give or take.
Totally put me on the spot.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, so the bigger the event, the more people typically need to be involved. And great minds do think alike in terms of getting the event together. So a main point of contact, event chair, director, manager, team leader, a backup contact, finance manager, treasurer, logistics, on-site coordinator, program director, event registrar, a marketing person, communications, community representatives, students, staff, faculty, anything like that. And
Oh, and then we're coming back to communication.
back to communication. Yes.
Next slide, next slide.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at 2 slides. All right, obviously we already talked about the next event resources, IT services. When you guys are setting up events, we do prefer that you reach out to us to go through to IT instead of reaching out to IT directly, because we are the spokes. We are the ones that are trying to put all that stuff together for moving crew, setup crew, and IT for certain things. And it complicates things if you guys reach out to IT and we're not aware of it to go set that item up. So it's helpful for us to keep things in line and also keeps IT from running around. I might have had something else that I needed them to do or signed into something else, and now they're getting phone calls from other people. Other things to note for communication. Not all event spaces require 7 microphones. So if you are booking off like one of these little rooms here, you maybe only need one mic, so IT might consult with you guys. So you might say, I want 6 lavaliers, 2 podium mics, and 7 freestanding microphones. And Adam here might actually look at you and say, you need 2 mics for your said event. So he will consult with you guys if he sees something that's like an unusual request. All right. And communication is a two-way street. So when we put in these orders and work orders for these things, IT, we will review things and reach back to you. If you want to book the soda center for your 5-person meeting in Moraga, we might talk to you guys about that because it prevents anyone with a larger event from being able to book the larger event. But the small event can happen just about anywhere. So we will definitely talk to you guys about that. And evaluation.
So before you take off, review your timeline, review your checklist. Make sure you're meeting with your event team. Meet with us. If you have any final details or changes, reach out to us. Oftentimes we hear, I should have reached out sooner. We don't want to hear that. We don't want you to feel that way. Like, partner with us earlier. You are also welcome to join our event ops meetings. We meet weekly. Jaime leads this meeting in the Facility Services Conference Room. We have campus safety, the moving crew, the custodial representation, facility services, grounds, the Good Eating Company, I feel like I said that twice, and then us. We're all there, and you can talk to all of us. We review your events every week. We meet almost every single week of the year to talk about what's coming up. And that's the best place. We've had a couple of people come in and it's been really beneficial for them. So please, you are welcome. Just let us know you're interested.
Right, Connor?
And then how are you measuring success? You know, aside from today's committee, are you collecting oh, thank you for that. I hope that's 5 out of 5. Hopefully you're collecting feedback. You're reaching out because that's how you know if your event was successful or not, right? And then hold on to it. Collect that data. We don't have a campus-wide data retention plan. Be part of the solution. Next.
Oh, okay.
All right, so reminders. This has been coming up a lot, so we wanted to say this twice. Any day of issues that you encounter, reach out to us immediately. Call the front office. There's Gio is out there right now. Extension 416. If we're in a
156.
meeting, did I say?
You said
4156. Our team can reach us. Okay. Now, when we're in meetings, we have our computers with us, and we are on Google Chat, so you can also chat us. If you still don't catch us, call Schwab. Call facilities. They will find us because if you have an issue a day of, we want to help you resolve it. Because if you put in your request, you did everything right, we should fulfill it for you, right? Of course, right. Okay. I feel like we're at time. What's our next slide? Yay! Questions?
We think you should take your show on the road.
Wait till I have better slides. When we
Yeah,
use
next
Canva.
year it's going to be all fancy
Oh my
dancing
gosh,
graphics.
We're very much inspired by Dr. Hunt.
A dance.
Karen, when do the,
Yeah, see?
sorry, the planning meetings, the event ops meetings take place?
I'm so glad you asked that question. It's Tuesday mornings, 10 o'clock a.m. right now. Tuesday at 10 to 11 in the Facility Services Conference Room. We are the building behind St. Joseph's Hall. I know some people have never been there before.
Yeah, let us know you're coming too, so then we can make sure to set aside time. And usually we'll just have you to talk with everyone first, so then that way you don't have to sit through me going line by line by line of all the different things that we have to take care of on campus.
One more question?
Thank you. Thank you so much.